Okay, so I started writing poetry about my dreams about a year ago, and I decided to start interpreting them. So I asked my cat to prepare this slideshow. So what I'm going to do is read a piece of poetry, a poem about a dream, and my cat is going to go into the ways to interpret it, the symbols, themes, and things that are in this poem. So we're going to start in just a second. He used several books that I had laying around the house on dream interpretation. Okay, so this latest dream, it evolved out of a memory from my childhood, a camping trip with my grandparents. Wandering, lost, deep in the woods, calling and calling for help, searching my way back through the forest, though feeling an overwhelming urge to give up and never go back, to be wild forevermore. Soon I notice the sun start to go down. As the sun disappears, the forest becomes cold, but the fear growing inside me keeps me warm. So afraid, I imagine there are things in these woods I do not wish to find. As I call out again and again, but hear no answer. I know that Granny is ever calm despite her worries and calls my name, but I do not hear her. Her face is dirty from cooking over the fire while trying to send smoke signals that I might see from deep in the forest. She is a beacon that I cannot see, but I can imagine, but I cannot find. Her love is an anchor that pulls my fear down and helps me control it. Grandfather eventually starts preparing to search, although he would rather tend the fire and wait a bit longer. He is the teacher, anticipating an opportunity for a lesson in survival. In the woods, a breeze whistles through the trees, reminding me that I am at nature's mercy. I am just another thing blowing in the wind. My mind finds dark places, scary elements for this dream. It takes me through varying stages of terror. It seems like I am being chased, as if I have become prey for some beast I cannot see. Suddenly the weather becomes fierce. Lightning crashes into trees, hurling burning limbs at me. Wind and rain blind and soak me as I scramble for shelter, weeping as I run, calling and calling out before giving in, accepting my fate, deciding to be a wild thing of this forest. Taming my fear, I desire strength. I aim to master my surroundings. I start to close my heart, whisper goodbyes to Granny and Grandfather into the wind. I've already forgotten everyone else, and my love that was a blanket is something that I burn now so that my new wild spirit will be warm. And as the thunder crackles over my head, I look for the beast that thought to hunt me. As the rain blankets the dark forest, I become soaked with rage. It washes away every emotion, and I seek only to stop the wild thing that is hunting me. I pull the knife from my hip, stab into the darkness, and I am sure that I have cut the heart of a great beast, some animal, wild like me, but in this dream I only take a human life, and my knife stabs blindly into my grandfather. I awaken abruptly from the shock, but still see his face, the painful expression. This face quiets the wild spirit, and I am glad to be back from camp, but my first thought is a yearning to have mastered the forest in my dreams. And as I pace through the daily routine of the awakened world, I find myself more and more aware of nature's grace and forgiveness. Closing my eyes, anchoring my love to the sound of the wind. It helps me to remember my way back before going forward, but I can hear that wild spirit in my soul calling to me. I listen to it behind the sounds of the constant chatter of society. And whenever I hear the thunder crack, I wonder, just like in the dream, with all my heart, am I lost or just learning to master my surroundings? So that was my immediate interpretation of the dream after I had it, of being lost in the woods. And these slides, as you can see, are my cat's more scientific, psychological explanation of what these things that I'm seeing are going on in my head. So, and he has sort of a dry sense of humor, so he included little hints at me of things that he wants and things that he would like changed in the world. So for example, thunder is a signal to be more assertive. Ancient Egyptian dream interpretation saw thunder as bad news or anger or rage or some kind of negative energy that's happening in your life, and something that will destroy or cleanse. Lightning symbolizes a sudden idea. It shows that you have found your own method of understanding. Charlie thinks that a good idea would be for me to make his bed out of a 50-pound bag of catnip, which will probably never happen because he would eat all of the bed. The heart in the dream actually is known to be a symbol of physical vitality. It's also the organ of suffering. So it can mean many things. Many of these things can mean many things, and it's often dream interpretation. A lot of people believe that it's often how you feel about the object also plays into that as well. It's not an exact science, obviously. Murder, which this was actually surprising to me, can refer to a step towards healing on some way. It can also mean that something has been severed. It doesn't necessarily have to be a connection to a person. It can be an ability or something in your life. The spirit of the wind and air personify intellect or spirit. So anytime you see wind or notice the wind, it's actually supposed to be like a signal of your spirit or a way that your spirit is understanding what is around you. So this dream, the context of what was happening in my life when this dream happened was that I had nearly completed a big project at work and was becoming frustrated with my need to be a perfectionist and to kind of make sure that everything works completely perfect in this big project. And it was a warning signal, actually, to not let my worries keep me from enjoying life or maybe changing an intellectual approach to the project to become more assertive, seek information, to complete the assignment. So all of the things that the elements in the dream were actually things that were kind of signals for me to learn to master my surroundings, which was kind of what I gathered in the first place.